Have you ever dreamed of seeing the world in your golden years? Of finally taking that cruise, visiting Europe, or exploring national parks across the US? Travel after retirement is often seen as the ultimate reward time to enjoy life after decades of hard work. But while travel can be exciting and deeply fulfilling, there's a side of it we don't often talk about, especially for those over 70. As we age, our bodies and minds go through subtle, sometimes invisible changes. You might still feel young at heart, but your balance, reflexes, immune system, and even your ability to handle stress all shift with time. Long flights, unfamiliar food, sudden weather changes, or missed medications, these things can turn a dream vacation into an exhausting or even dangerous experience. This isn't to scare anyone off. Quite the opposite. Travel is still possible and even wonderful after 70, but it requires awareness and preparation. The key is knowing the risks so you can travel smart and safe. In this video, we'll walk through 5 hidden dangers of traveling in older age. These are not just medical concerns, they're real-life challenges that many seniors face, but rarely talk about. From unexpected fatigue to safety issues abroad, we'll cover what you need to know before booking that next trip. So if you're 70 or older, if you have parents or loved ones in that age, group stay with us. Understanding these risks could be the difference between a joyful memory and a health emergency. And along the way, we'll also share helpful tips to stay healthy, safe, and confident while exploring the world. Let's dive in because good travel begins with good planning. Let's start with what might be the most important and potentially life-threatening risk of traveling after age 70. Your health? It's a tough truth, but the older we get, the more vulnerable we become to sudden health issues. Heart disease, high blood pressure, and respiratory conditions. These aren't rare for seniors. And while you may manage them well at home, travel adds a whole new layer of stress. Think about it. Long hours on a plane or train, jet lag, strange foods, hot or freezing weather, high altitudes. All of these factors can trigger serious conditions like dehydration, blood clots, or shortness of breath. In fact, a peaceful cruise or a scenic mountain trip can turn into a nightmare if your body reacts in ways you didn't expect. Let me tell you about James, a 74-year-old gentleman who set off on what was supposed to be a dream cruise in the Caribbean. He was relatively healthy, walked every day, and took his medications. But halfway through the trip, he started feeling chest pain. There was no hospital nearby, just a nurse on board and an emergency call to the Coast Guard. By the time he was airlifted to the nearest hospital, he had suffered a mild heart attack. James survived, but the medical bill? Over 30, zero. His regular Medicare didn't cover the emergency care because he was outside the U.S., and he hadn't purchased additional travel insurance. Sadly, this isn't an uncommon story. Many older travelers assume that their health coverage goes with them wherever they go. But the truth is, most U.S. insurance plans, including Medicare, don't cover international medical emergencies. That means if something happens abroad, anything from a broken bone to a serious illness, you could be facing thousands in out-of-pocket costs. So how can you protect yourself? Here are a few things I always recommend. See your doctor before you travel. Get a full checkup and discuss your travel plans. Carry your medications and extras. Pack them in your carry-on, not your checked luggage. Know the local healthcare system. Research hospitals or clinics near your destination. Buy travel insurance, not just for lost luggage, but one that covers emergency evacuation, hospital stays, and medical treatment. Traveling after 70 doesn't have to be scary, but it does require more planning. Your health is your passport to any adventure. Take care of it, and the world will still be yours to explore. Up next, we'll look at another hidden challenge of senior travel: fatigue and physical exhaustion. It may sound simple, but it can stop your trip in its tracks. Now, let's talk about another invisible yet very real risk of traveling after 70: infections and germs. When we travel, especially internationally, we step into environments that our bodies aren't used. To new climates, new foods, new bacteria, and different hygiene standards. For a younger person, that might just mean an upset stomach. But for someone over 70 with a weaker immune system, that harmless bug could land you in a hospital. Here's why. As we age, our immune systems naturally weaken. That doesn't mean we're constantly sick, it just means our bodies don't fight off infections as quickly or as strongly as they used to. So when you're in crowded places like airports, hotels, tour buses, or even public restrooms, your risk of picking up something increases fast. Let me share an example. Margaret, 76, took a once-in-a-lifetime trip to Southeast Asia. She was cautious, but one evening she decided to try a local street food dish that wasn't fully cooked. Within 12 hours, she was vomiting, had diarrhea, and became so dehydrated she needed IV fluids. What started as an adventurous meal turned into 3 days in a foreign clinic with unfamiliar doctors, and all plans canceled. The truth is, we don't always know how our bodies will react to unfamiliar bacteria in food or water. Even something as simple as brushing your teeth with tap water in some countries can cause trouble. So, how can you travel safely without living in fear? Here are some tried and true tips. Always wash your hands and carry hand sanitizer when soap isn't available. Wear a mask in crowded or enclosed areas, especially in airports or on planes. Stick to bottled water, not just for drinking, but even for brushing your teeth in places with questionable water systems. Be careful with food. Avoid raw vegetables, undercooked meat, and street food unless you're absolutely sure it's safe. Get vaccinated. Depending on where you're going, your doctor might recommend vaccines for hepatitis, typhoid, or other preventable diseases. And remember, being cautious isn't about being paranoid. It's about protecting your health, so you can actually enjoy your travels. No one wants to spend their vacation in bed or worse, in an ER across the globe. Coming up next, we'll explore the third hidden danger of traveling in older age: physical fatigue and exhaustion. It's more common than you think, and it can derail your trip before it even begins. Now let's talk about something many older travelers don't expect, but almost all of them experience once they're on the road: fatigue. Not just being a little tired, but that deep draining exhaustion that doesn't go away after a nap or a night's sleep. As we age, our bodies recover more slowly from stress, and travel is full of it. Crossing time zones, adjusting to strange beds, eating at odd hours, and sticking to packed schedules all take a toll. For someone in their 30s, it might mean a sleepy day or two, but for someone over 70, it can mean feeling off balance, weak, confused, or even sick for days or weeks. Let me tell you about Richard. He's 75, a retired professor who planned a 2-week trip across Europe. Museums in the morning, tours in the afternoon, dinner reservations every night. He was excited, but by day 4, he felt completely wiped out. Jet lag hit hard, his legs ached, he couldn't sleep well in the hotel beds. And by the time he flew back home, he spent nearly 3 weeks just trying to feel normal again. This kind of fatigue isn't just physical, it's mental and emotional too. When the body is tired, the immune system weakens and our mood suffers. We lose patience, forget things, and even become more prone to falls or illness. So, how do you protect your energy while still enjoying the adventure? Here are a few smart tips that make all the difference. Build in rest days. Don't plan something every hour. Leave space to relax or even do nothing. Stay hydrated, especially on flights or in dry climates. Fatigue often gets worse with dehydration. Eat light and healthy. Your body works harder to digest rich or unfamiliar foods. Sleep matters. Choose hotels with good reviews for comfort and quiet. Bring earplugs, a sleep mask, or anything you use at home to help you rest. Listen to your body. If you're tired, slow down. It's okay to skip a tour or say no to an outing. Opt for shorter flights and limit layovers. The journey itself shouldn't be a battle. Here's the thing. Travel is meant to be enjoyed, not endured. Being realistic about your energy doesn't mean giving up adventure. It means making space for joy, not just movement. In the next part, we'll talk about another silent stressor for senior travelers: the risks of losing medication or running out of it mid-trip, what you can do to prevent that. Let's face it, travel can be unpredictable. And for older adults, one of the most underestimated dangers isn't the food or the flight or even the language barrier. It's something much simpler: falling. Yes, falling. A momentary misstep, a poorly lit stairwell, an uneven sidewalk in an old city. These are minor inconveniences for younger travelers, but for someone over 70, a fall can be life-altering. Here's the reality. As we age, our bones become more fragile. Our balance isn't quite what it used to be. Reflexes slow down. So when you're walking in unfamiliar place, especially in historic towns, crowded markets, or cobblestone streets, the risk of tripping or slipping goes up significantly. Let me share a story that's, unfortunately, all too common. Linda, 78, was enjoying a beautiful afternoon stroll in Florence, Italy. The sun was out, the streets were buzzing, but as she stepped off a curb that was slightly higher than expected, she lost her balance and fell hard. The result? A fractured hip, surgery abroad, weeks of painful recovery, and her dream vacation cut tragically short. And the worst part? It could have been prevented with a few simple precautions. Here's what you can do to stay safe without sacrificing the joy of exploration. Choose travel destinations that are senior-friendly. Look for cities with well-maintained sidewalks, good lighting, and accessible transportation. Wear the right shoes. Supportive, non-slip, closed-toe shoes can make all the difference. Leave the stylish sandals at home. Use a walking stick or cane if needed. There's no shame in using tools that support your freedom and safety. Rest when you need to. Fatigue makes us clumsy. Don't push through just to keep up with the tour group. Avoid going out alone at night, especially in poorly lit areas. Even a familiar street can become risky when visibility is low. Stay alert. Escalators, wet floors, and crowded stairs all demand full attention, especially in unfamiliar environments. Falls are one of the leading causes of injury among older adults, and when they happen far from home, the consequences can be even more complicated. But with a little planning and caution, these risks are completely manageable. So don't let the fear of falling keep you from exploring. Let it motivate you to travel smarter, so you can keep doing what you love safely and confidently. In our final section, we'll talk about one last danger that often gets overlooked: the risk of running out of or forgetting essential medication during your travels. Now let's talk about a risk that's less about health and more about your wallet. Traveling after 70 can be a beautiful experience, but it also comes with unique financial risks that many older travelers simply aren't prepared for. Let's start with insurance. Many people assume their domestic health insurance or Medicare will cover them wherever they go, but that's not always true. In fact, most US insurance policies don't offer coverage for international medical emergencies. So if you need surgery, hospitalization, or even an ambulance abroad, you could be stuck with a bill in the tens of thousands of dollars out of pocket. Now imagine you've planned your dream vacation, but a few days before your departure, something happens to a health scare, a family emergency, and you need to cancel. Without travel insurance, you could lose all your money. Flights, hotels, tours, gone. And sadly, there's another financial threat that's often aimed directly at older travelers: scams. Let me tell you about George. He's 76, tech-savvy, and very cautious. But when he found what looked like a great deal on a hotel in Barcelona, he booked it right away. It was listed on a travel website he hadn't used before, but the pictures looked real and the price seemed perfect. When he arrived in Spain, the hotel didn't exist. The confirmation was fake, the phone number was disconnected, and he had no place to stay. George had to scramble to find another hotel last minute and ended up spending double his original budget. This happens more often than you'd think. Scammers often target older tourists, assuming they're less likely to detect fake listings or fraudulent charges. And when you're traveling, it's easy to let your guard down. So what can you do to protect yourself? Always buy travel insurance that includes trip cancellation, emergency medical care, and evacuation coverage. Book through trusted websites or travel agent zones you've used before or that are widely reviewed. Be skeptical of deals that seem too good to be true. Often they are. Avoid carrying too much cash, use a mix of cards and digital payments, and keep them secure. Protect your personal information. Use hotel safes, avoid public Wi-Fi for banking, and don't hand your credit card to strangers. Watch out for common scams like fake taxi drivers, credit card skimmers, or pressure sales tactics at tourist traps. Financial stress can ruin a vacation just as easily as illness. But with a few smart choices and a healthy dose of caution, you can enjoy your travels without unnecessary risk. And that brings us to the end of our list, but not the end of your travel dreams. Let's wrap up with a few closing thoughts to help you explore the world with confidence and peace of mind. So, after everything we've talked about, the risks, the stories, the preparation, you might be asking yourself, should I still travel after 70? And the answer is absolutely yes, but with care, planning, and a little more intention than before. Traveling in your 70s or beyond isn't off limits. In fact, it can be one of the most rewarding chapters of your life. You've earned this time. You've waited for the freedom to explore without the pressure of work, schedules, or raising a family. But the reality is, your body, your energy, and your health have changed, and your travel habits need to change with them. This doesn't mean giving up on your dreams. It means adjusting them to fit your current life. Instead of that whirlwind 10-city European tour, maybe it's a cozy long weekend in a nearby town with beautiful views and great food. Instead of a 14-hour international flight, maybe it's a train trip through national parks or a river cruise closer to home. Choose destinations with good healthcare, easy transportation, and senior-friendly infrastructure. Here are a few important questions to ask yourself before booking anything. Is my current health stable enough for this trip? Do I have the right insurance in place in case something goes wrong? Will this destination support my comfort, safety, and peace of mind? Am I planning this trip to prove something-er to truly enjoy it? Because here's the truth, your quality of life matters more than ticking items off a bucket list. If travel adds joy, great. But if it adds stress, anxiety, or risk, then maybe the best decision is to stay closer to home or wait a bit longer. That doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're choosing wisely. Travel at any age should feel empowering, not exhausting. The key is to go not just with your heart, but with your eyes open and your health in mind. Wherever you go, whether it's a weekend getaway or a lifelong dream destination, take care of yourself first because the world is still waiting for you. And it's better explored when you're healthy, happy, and ready for the adventure. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, share it with someone you love who's planning a trip in their golden years. And remember, travel wisely and keep exploring.